Cool. So, welcome to Blaze World, episode three with Mikey Kennedy on number three. Then again, I think I said episode three. I think it's actually probably episode four. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, how are things anyway, buddy? You okay, Mike?
Yeah, I'm great. Happy to be on here. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Thanks for joining us. I know you have a busy schedule, so I really appreciate your time and everything. So, 4 points at the weekend. How you feeling?
It feels great. Those are two big opponents, and
Yeah,
getting 4 points out of that weekend is huge.
yeah, definitely. And not only that, I bet you had I think you had a light. Did you have a late night last night by chance?
Yeah, the Super Bowl started
Yeah,
late.
I thought you was. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you did
Who were you
you?
supporting for the Super Bowl?
I wanted the Eagles, so that was good.
Yeah, but you're happy then. Happy days. I know because I know I woke up this morning and I had your message and I was like, 1 o'clock in the morning. Those guys are still up, probably watching the game. What time did it finish?
Uh, that's a good question. I want to say around like three, I think, or something like that. I mean, the halftime show is a full hour, so that's quite the intermission.
Yeah, did they have all like the entertainment and everything?
Yes, yeah, they had Kendrick Lamar playing
Oh wow,
for
nice one.
night.
Did you with it? Was it with the whole team? Did you watch the game?
Yep, yeah.
Oh, some of the atmosphere in there was pretty cool then.
Yeah, it was a good mix. It was
Yeah, I
fun.
bet it was. So,
Had some
so
guys.
no, you got your first. What I wanted to say, you got your first pro goal. Sorry, guys, if you're going to mention that, but I thought I'd drop it in there. You got your first pro goal. What I know we're all buzzing for you about. How did that feel?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, it was great to get it in overtime as well, and also I have Nick Seitz past me. He's one of my roommates, so that was always good fun talking
Oh,
about it with him afterwards. But
oh, brilliant. And you also got a, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but player of the month as well recently.
oh yeah, yeah,
So
that was.
you're on fire. I hope we can expect more goals from you, to be fair, because you've got a lot of fans in the arena. I know my wife, who's not here at the moment, she is a super fan of yours. She's got your name and number on the jersey, and every time we're in Samoa Joe's, we end up missing you, and she used to be really disappointed, bless her. So she said if she gets the opportunity, she wanted to come in and say hi because she is a huge fan of yours. So, but no, again, thank you for joining us. I have to say as well, I know Jen was going to probably bring this up because we were talking about you're getting a bit feisty out there lately, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, I like to play with a lot of passion, and sometimes that can boil over after the whistle, I guess. But
I like it because sometimes I hear you. Well, I'm trying to lip read you when you're giving a few people a bit of mouth. Sometimes I love it trying to get into their heads, and I love seeing that. And then sometimes you end up with a right hook, don't you?
yeah, yeah.
So fair play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around everybody to do some questions because I don't want me to be chatting away all the time. This is about you with the fans and stuff, and it was just me giving that opportunity to everybody. So um, whoever wants to go first, that's fine, mate. I'll go around. I'll go with Jen first, if that's okay. If you want to ask a question to Mike.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Mikey.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So yeah, kind of following on a little bit from what Luke said, really. I've been watching loads of your previous interviews, and you kind of come across as so warm and friendly, and you talk about community and all of this. And then on the ice, it's like a beast comes out. So yeah, I was just wondering about, is it purely down to kind of just being so passionate about trying to do well during the game? Is it that you see kind of ice hockey as a bit of an outlet for aggression? Like, what is it behind that, do you think? Or is it just you don't necessarily really overthink it?
Yeah, I don't know if I could really pinpoint it. I would say I like to take pride in playing really hard, and playing like a 200-foot game, whether that's in the corners or in front of the net or along the blue lines. So I think sometimes that kind of stuff can show itself in those areas of the rink. But I guess yeah, I haven't really thought too deeply into it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I was saying to Luke before, I say like you always seem like you're in the thick of it. Like if something happens, you're always right there. But it makes for entertaining viewing from us as the fans as well.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rosie, whenever you're ready.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Mine's a little bit different. So mine is if you had one superpower that would improve your performance on the ice, what would it be and why?
Ooh, um, what's that superpower where you can like control objects? What's that? What's the word for that? The telekinesis? Is that the word?
Tell
Yeah, I think telekinesis would be pretty useful if you could just make the puck move around or make an opposing player fall down or something without actually touching them.
Yeah, that's quite a good one to be fair. I was thinking maybe like make yourself a bit quicker or something like super speed, but no, that's probably a better one.
No, that also would do. Being able to fly or something would be useful.
Cheers, Rosie. Jono?
Mine's a bit of a curveball as well, in the fact that we were speaking about your Belfast trip only at outside Cardiff earlier. Give us all a story from Belfast that no fans have heard yet.
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
You were saying that you had a few days in Belfast to sort of go out, see the city,
Oh yes, yeah.
enjoy it. So give us all a story that nobody's heard yet.
Yeah, I guess so what day was it? Sunday the flight got canceled. Monday, so the next day, Monday, I was going to get some food with actually David Clemens. He was, he was really raving about Slim Chickens. Never been there before, but
That's what I had today.
yeah, yeah. Well, he insisted on taking me, and myself being from the States, I pride on, Chick-fil-A and um Popeyes and Raising Cane's, all those places. And he took me there, and then I hated to admit it, but it was I thought it was better than Chick-fil-A. And
There you go. That's welcome to British culture, I suppose.
yeah, yeah.
Better at fried chicken than we think we are.
That's a good question. Ruth?
I want to know what words were exchanged last night before your fight with Robert Dowd, to be honest, because that
Oh,
was a good one.
Sorry. What words were exchanged? Did you say?
Yeah.
No,
What did he say to you to make you both drop the gloves and just go?
I wasn't actually. There was no particular words to exchange. It
Yeah,
was just a heated altercation, kind of happened fast. A couple of our guys were in the mix, and then I joined the mix, and he was there as well, and it just kind of happened pretty, I guess, organically. It didn't wasn't too much mouthing off or anything.
fair enough. 'Cause I just saw one of Dowd's gloves fly off last night. And I was like, "Whoa! It's the gloves are gone. It's fighting."
Yeah, no, it was definitely a spirited one. That was fun.
It did look it.
and Sarah?
Yeah, so mine is more to do with like Coventry. So obviously you've been here now a few months. What would you say is your favorite thing about the city?
Oh, I would say, hmm, there's a few things. I would say like one of my favorite things whenever family or friends come over is the cathedral and the really small museum that's like right attached to it, as well as climbing the tower on I think it's Saturdays as it's open. But I really enjoy the museum in there. It's like really small. You sit in like those school desks, and it kind of shows you a little bit about the history of Coventry during World War II and kind of the resiliency of the area. It's not the biggest museum by any means, but I do find it a very moving place to go.
So,
Okay, thank you.
uh, Daniel?
I was just wondering if you had the chance to design any event game jersey, what kind of event jersey would you pick and what would be your design?
Oh, it's a good question. Hmm, I guess maybe. You got me here stumped.
It's a good question, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. I guess the Valentine's theme is kind of around. I guess just to pick one that's pretty close by. I think I would probably design it, putting like Cupid on the back or some sort, or maybe in the front, drawing an arrow through our normal logo.
Nice.
Not bad, not bad. So I've got one for you. NHL teams. I always ask this question to every player. NHL teams, who do you follow?
The Bruins. Yeah, born and raised.
You can do that, yeah.
Yeah, Massachusetts. Just following the local team. So
Yeah. So I'm a New York Rangers fan, and I'm glad that we got the win over them the other night. So I'm happy
yeah,
about
fair. Yeah.
that. But nah. Jen, have you got another question? We'll go back round again. we'll ask as many questions again because that was pretty quick firing, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. So you're quite a young player for the Blaze. So I was just wondering what advice you've got that you would give to any other sort of young and upcoming hockey players if they want to make it to a professional level.
Hmm, the young player, I would say, I guess I have two pieces of advice. I guess one of them being, um, consistency is key. I think I saw a quote one not too long ago where it was like, no amount of intensity can make up for a lack of consistency. Um, and so keeping at it throughout it, throughout the years is definitely what's key, not so much a short burst or a sprint. It's a marathon. And I guess the second piece to that would be how you do one thing is how you do everything. How you might not think that school is directly translatable to how you're doing in the rink, but if you're slacking off in school, those habits will find a way onto the ice sheet, or if it's just something else in your everyday life. But yeah.
I think that's really good advice. Yeah, it's particularly that idea about consistency. I think people sometimes think that it's just raw talent and that that's what kind of gets you there. But the idea of being kind of constant hard work, I think, is really, really pretty cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a great question, Jim, and that was a great answer. Rosie?
Have you ever been asked about what your death row meal might be?
I can't say I have, but
So you've got to pick a starter, a main, a dessert, and a drink. What would they be? It can be anything.
okay. Oh, uh, the starter. Hmm, probably gonna go with buffalo wings. Um,
With a dip or no dip? Just
yeah, I'd go ranch on the side.
okay.
If it's a good enough wing, maybe I'll use the ranch sparingly, but yeah, I'd get the ranch on the side for my starter or my main, I mean. Hmm. I think I'd go with chicken parm
Okay.
with spaghetti. And my dessert, I think I'd go with my mocha cake. My Aunt Kathy, she always makes this mocha cake, and the frosting is just delicious. So that'll be my dessert. My drink, I don't know. Probably go lemonade. I like lemonade.
And lemonade? Would it be like a branded lemonade or just bog standard?
I think I'd go with like a homemade lemonade.
Oh, okay, nice. Like,
Lemon.
some people like are very particular, especially with like Pepsi, Coke. So, but yeah, homemade lemonade, that's a good one.
Yeah, or like a Minute Maid, but I think I'd go with the homemade lemonade.
Nice.
So, ready when you, Jono.
I'm going to revert back to hockey a little bit and ask your favourite and your worst rinks from the league so far.
That's a great question.
It is. Outside of favorite outside of the Sky Dome, of course, I think I would go with I think Belfast. I did enjoy their environment, especially the last time we played them. It was loud. It was good energy. Um, I think it's just a really like pleasing to the eye arena too. It's nice. Away locker rooms are really good. Um, I think least favorite, not even so much like facilities wise, but I think Guildford just it's can sometimes feel a little quiet in there. Um,
I could
yeah,
sort of tell it was going to be a toss up between Guildford and Manchester.
yeah,
They're the two that everybody says are really bad.
yeah. I'd say Manchester actually has a really like loud stadium. Like when it's going, just the acoustics of it, it feels the atmosphere is actually it's jumping in there. And then I would say Guildford what really threw it over too was the bench, small bench. It's kind of tough to sit there in the game and maneuver when you're changing lines and stuff.
It's a long trip as well. It's a long trip on the bus down there.
Oh yeah.
To end up in Guildford, never fun.
Ready when you are, Ruth?
Have you got a role model within hockey or someone you followed like as a kid?
Yeah, within hockey, actually, I grew up. My favorite player was Steven Stamkos. That was I remember in eighth grade, I did like like a biography on him, wrote a short essay on him, but I really liked his style, how he carried himself. Um,
Yeah.
he's kind of like a well-known leader around the NHL, but he's kind of a quieter guy from what it seems like. Of course, I don't, you know, what goes on behind the doors, I don't know, but just the way he carries himself, I always really admired.
Sarah?
Yeah, so I know away from hockey, you're currently studying for your MBA. So how are you getting on with that and balancing that with your obviously training all the time and then to having some downtime as well?
Yeah, it's been good. It has been tricky at sometimes, just because it's not like when you played for university. When I played for university last year, it was like the school is in tandem with hockey, so it's kind of like when you had finals week, you didn't really have games. But I would say that it's been pretty manageable, and having two other guys as well doing it has made it a lot easier in that regard.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Daniel?
Just wondering, like, what roles have your friends and family had that's impacted your hockey career?
Oh, I would say huge. Definitely would not get to go the places that I've been without family, especially and friends. You you really, I guess I've really come to appreciate it the last few years, but looking back on just a lot of sacrifices, even like youth hockey growing up, I played for a team. I was like 40 minutes away for my U14 year, and having a lot of people chipping in and driving me to practice during the week and to bring me to games. Say, I had an older cousin who played a big role in that as well. He was a really talk about hockey role model, um, Ruth, but I'd say he was a really big hockey role model in that regard. And just like taking me places to train in the summer and making sure I was doing the best that I could.
Brilliant. So, in the case of this season, what's been the highlight so far being at Coventry Blaze?
Mm, I'd say just, I guess not like a specific highlight, but a general highlight is like just the locker room in general. I think we have a really, really fun group of guys, and it's coming to the rink in the mornings before practice is really something special. We talked about it earlier in the year, like about guys that retire, and they always talk about like, what do you miss? And it's like the things that really get missed are like just the subtle banter that goes on throughout the day amongst the guys. And I would say that that's been something I've really come to really appreciate.
That's awesome. What's it been like for you personally playing under Coach Moore?
It's been great. No, really been great. I was fortunate enough to have crossed paths with him a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did some work at Princeton. And so I got to know pretty well about who he was as a person. And when he reached out to me, I was more than excited to get to come over and play for him.
That's brilliant. Is there anyone in the team where you think like you kind of look up to anyone in that team? Is anyone specific who you'd look up to in that team and you think, I'm learning quite a lot from you as well as towards my game a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, we have a great group of older guys that I think really do an amazing job of like showing the standard of how to conduct yourself on and off the ice. Like I sit right next to Kim Talberg, and he's a salt of the earth guy. It's about as good as it gets. And just as well as like we have a lot of older defensemen, and I find myself every day in practice learning from, Terrence, Xander, even Vinny, Strids, just could go down the line. But yeah, I'd say I'm definitely getting to learn a lot from the older guys.
Oh, brilliant. I'm going to send one over to Jono because Jono, don't know if you're aware, you go quite a lot of places, bro. You travel quite a lot to these away games. You're part of is it yours, the Blaze Away? Is it something you started, or is it where you guys travel, to technically every away game, don't you?
Not all of them. Scotland is an absolute mission and do their best to avoid it because it's a 6 hour drive, don't get me wrong. But yeah, tried to get to a lot of them. Yeah, it's purely following Blaze and trying to push it, trying to build a bit of an atmosphere in the Sky Dome, and trying to it's a group of us. So there's a lot of people that are all putting a lot of time and effort into trying to create something out of Coventry Blaze and yeah, like yourself is doing, I suppose, and pushing content, pushing stuff out there to try and get people involved. So
Yeah, this is what we did what I did Blaze World for is the opportunity to push the sport out as much as possible because British hockey doesn't get out there as much as it should do really, I believe.
yeah,
And we live in a place where we're surrounded with football. Don't get me wrong, I like football. I know you'd probably class it as soccer, but like we're surrounded in a country where it's just absolutely passionate for football. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but obviously of the British Ice Hockey League that it needs to. I want it to grow. I'd love to see it more out there on the TV streams a little bit more because I know when we need to watch away games or any people who can't make our home games, we have to go on the streams. But it would be good in the future if we can make that a possibility by pushing it more to give us the chance where we could have a channel where we could watch it like we do with the football, where it's all good because obviously all the money we pay to watch streams, it goes towards the sport we love. But it would be nice to kind of get out there and getting that sport more out there as best as possible. And how does it feel for you personally, Mikey, to be a part of like the Elite League and getting to play against these teams really where, like the achievement we had this weekend was unbelievable. Getting 4 points out of at the moment, one of the top teams in the league, to be fair, how we turned over Cardiff after, I know how us fans felt after 7 seconds and we went 1-0 down. We all thought, oh no, is this going to be a one we want to forget? But you guys, you keep your heads up and you absolutely battled, and you got more physical as we got into the third. And we continued that into the weekend. And look what we did last night. It was an absolutely one of the best weekends for a long time to see, to go from Cardiff to what we've done. And I was hugging, put it this way, there was people around me. Ruth will know. I don't know if Ruth, I think you were behind me as we got the winner. And I had
I think it
Jacob
was.
behind me. And I never hugged Jacob. And when we got that goal, and I turned around and gave him a hug, and I was thinking, I never hug you. So that meant a lot to me. So but yeah, personally, how does it feel to be a part of, what's going on with this team? And look at look how far we've come from, we've had a really good start of that season. Okay, we're just getting a bit shaky down the middle, but how we've come from that weekend, how does that make you feel to be a part of all this and being in this British Hockey League?
Yeah, it feels great. Like one of the things that Morty said right before the end of our his concluding speech after the game on Sunday was like, it's an amazing weekend, but there's not a single reason why we should feel satisfied by any means. And so there's still like a really high level of hunger. I don't think, it is nice to stop and look at the view of accomplishments so what we've done so far. And like you mentioned, we definitely had some rocky parts, and then that's part of a hockey season that's 64 games long. It's gonna happen. Um, but it feels like we can really do something special as a group, and there's kind of that buzz in the air in the locker room. And I think like this weekend particularly, I was talking about it with some of the guys, like it felt like during that game we were kind of like in a pocket, like almost like in a flow state in a way. Like there was just this level of focus, even though, two goals happened early on against Cardiff, and the crowd was going hard and stuff, but there was still this level of like I guess like flow state, hard to fully describe, but like, you make a mistake, it's not something to compound or anything like that. It was very a level of like confidence within us, and yeah, it just felt like a really good weekend.
Yeah. And how do
Um,
you feel going into next weekend we've got a tough fixture next weekend with the double header against Panthers. we all know, and especially being in the game, we all know what happened last time we went to Panthers away. Something what I think we all try and forget about.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
how does that feel? What's the mentality like going into this? Really, we know what happened last week, last time we played them. We know what happened on New Year's Day. Something I'll never forget about New Year's Day. I don't know if anybody else caught it. I always bring this up, but New Year's Day, not only the result upset me, but what I did the puck drop. And I don't know if anybody noticed what happened on the puck drop, but I got a lot of Nottingham Panthers fans. John is already smiling. I got a lot of Panthers fans who are friends of mine who dropped me a message after saying, "Why did you do what you did?" And I was like, "What?" And he says, "When you went to shake Grayson's hand, you didn't shake his hand. You shook his finger." And I was like, "What?" And then I looked back on it, and I did literally. I shook Ollie Bettridge's hand, and I went to turn around to Ollie. And because I've obviously got this busted knee, I turned around. I went all awkward. Went to shake, went to shake Grayson's hand, and I missed. And I shook his finger, and I was like, "That looks so weird." And then I messaged him the next day to say, "Dude, I'm really sorry that I shook your finger and not your hand." And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't even notice." And I was like, "Yeah, you did."
No,
Everybody else did.
well, I guess to say the same thing as Connie, I didn't notice either. So you're
But
right
no,
there.
how do you feel going into this weekend?
Yeah, like yeah, that one at their place definitely stung the last time we
Yeah,
played
of
them.
course.
But I would say it's not much different than the mindset going into this previous
Yeah,
weekend. It's there's only 10 teams in the league, and we're at a state of the season where you kind of understand the opponent's style of play, and so
yeah,
it's kind of more about focusing on our game and playing to our potential.
yeah, definitely. Jen, you got
I'm
any other
gonna. Can
questions?
I just jump in there and sort of like just based on it? Quite early in the season, I felt that we were losing a lot of the bigger ice games. Do you feel like as a team you were A, struggling with it, and B, coping with it better now?
It's definitely an adjustment. That's a very good point. There's extra width. You as a defenseman, you really have to make sure you're inside the dots because you can end up paying the price pretty heavily if you're outside. But I would say yes, it's something that and we have a lot of older guys as well, so it's not something totally new in that regard. But I would say as the season's progressed, we have gotten very used to it.
Obviously, as Coventry is one of the smaller ice pads as well, and I think if I might be wrong, but the college side of things, being your first year pro, college is even smaller, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's actually funny you say that. I remember like the first skate in Sky Dome was just a free skate kind of thing. I got here a little early and I was like, this rink's huge. Like I was like, this ice sheet is massive and guys are like it's not. It's pretty small relative to other teams in the league. And but yes, yeah, the college rink is not as big. It still varies, kind of like it varies in this league as well. Like you have some rinks that are huge, but the average college rink is definitely smaller.
You look at that Nottingham ice in comparison, it is massive. Like when you're in the away end and you look down the far end, the goal is so far away in comparison to like a Coventry game or a Guildford game. Yeah, it's massive ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lake.
But that's what makes me feel great about being a Cov fan because I always put my hands up before I used to watch Cov. I used to go and watch Nottingham play, and I got because I have all my friends are not majority of my friends who I know are Nottingham Panthers fans. So I went with the majority as you do, and that was when I first started getting into British hockey, um, and then we played Coventry away, and then I felt like this is a lot better in terms of like how close you can be to the ice. Like I've got a season ticket and I never sit in my seat. I'm always by the glass, thumping the glass. And I like the fact that I can be up close and personal into the game. When you're at Nottingham, you don't get that opportunity. And that's what I like about being a Blaze fan, that you can be close and you do feel close. And not only that, I've noticed as well, like this is how I got to know all you guys through it, where you meet friends through it, you get relationships through it, and it's a close knit team that everybody looks out for each other, ask everyone how everyone is. And no disrespect to the Panthers, I've got nothing but good words to say about them because I've got friends there. But I don't think I got that deep down, even though I got friends there. But when you're at Coventry, you feel that you're a close team. The things what we do off the ice, games away, like especially what Jono does, going home and away. You go to those away games nearly. I'd probably say you've probably gone to every away. Have you gone to every away game this season?
No.
You've
I'm mad. I'm not that mad. A lot of them, like I said, there's a lot, but not quite
done
all of
you've
them.
done your fair
But
share, though, I have
yeah,
to say.
but
And
this is a prime example of
yeah,
the difference between clubs like Coventry and Nottingham. Ex-players have said it, fans have said it, that players are very much not kept apart. That's not fair.
no,
But you don't get the personal side of it, and that's
no,
where me and Joe especially we fell in love with this game through it. It was we went to Guildford away one day and happened to see Johnny Curran, had a bit of a knack to him, and it was the skate with the Blaze the next day. And he was like, "Oh my god, you two are the guys from down in Guildford yesterday." And it's things like that that are so personal, and you don't get it in the bigger teams. You don't get it in football.
yeah.
It's stuff like this where Coventry is really good,
Yeah,
really good.
that's the reason why I had to bring this podcast in because we have podcasts. I know a few others do Coventry Blaze podcasts, but I wanted to do this more for opportunity for us to, be all involved as much as possible with the team. And I thought this season was the right season because I was going to do it last season, but then I thought this season was the right season with a new coach, new team, and a chance for all of us to get to know this new team and it has brought it's brought me feeling more closer to the team as well, so I get to know everybody on a personal level. I got to bring the fans in, so again, I really appreciate for like what you've done tonight to come out to us and talk to us. So Jen, have you got any other questions?
Yeah, it's stepping away from questions about the game, I'm afraid.
Sure, no worries.
So I know that Tallberg, for instance, I know does this crazy abstract painting using his hockey stick and various other things. I wondered whether you've got any other kind of like secret talents or hobbies that you like doing aside from hockey.
It's a really good question.
Ones you're
Currently,
willing to share.
sorry, what?
Ones you're willing to share, or are they too top secret, but you're like
Yeah.
absolutely not sharing that?
No, I would say like I guess since I've been here, whenever I have like it's just this is not a talent per se, but I guess something that I like to spend a lot of time doing when I have free time. Just trying to travel and getting to see just new areas within the UK. Um,
Have you
at
had any
home.
sorry, have you had any favorite places so far that you've seen, or anything that you've kind of seen that where you want to travel and have a look at?
I would say the Churchill Museum in London was something special. That was awesome. I've been
Yeah.
to Warwick Castle a few times. That was really sweet. Stratford, went to Shakespeare's home and places like that. But Churchill's museum, or the Churchill War Room Museum that was cool.
So it's all a lot of the ones you mentioned are all sort of historical. Is it the sort of quaint history of the UK? Not to stereotype you as an American or anything, but
Oh no, yeah, you're pretty on the money on that one. Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Rosie?
I was just wondering, obviously, ice hockey can be quite a superstitious sport. I was just wondering if you had like a pre-match day routine. Is there anything you absolutely need to do before the match starts? I can't remember who it was last year, but I remember watching it. I think it may have been Danny Cristo, and he said he had to have a Twix and cut his fingernails before he played a match. So, do you have anything like that, or what actually is your pre-match routine?
Um, I wouldn't say I'm superstitious, but I am little stitious. Huh? Office quote? No, anyone? But I don't have anything crazy that I do. I think recently I started walking to the rink on home games. A lot of times too, I'll take a shower right when I get to the rink, and other than that, it's I wouldn't say it's like a hard, strict thing. Sometimes I do what I feel is best to prepare. I would find myself like when I was younger, like in high school and stuff. I was like really like routine and like very superstitious. Like if I didn't get to do this one thing, it was like, oh, like the whole game is in jeopardy now. And like
Yeah.
that, I definitely do believe in routines leading up to the game, so you can kind of get some consistency. But I don't know if I have anything other than like I guess routine stuff like taping my sticks and waxing it before video. And I guess I have a lax ball where when we do like our team meeting before we start to like really warm up off ice. And I
Yeah.
try
Does anyone have anything that's like you're like that's a little bit weird before they have to do it and you're like that's a bit odd?
No, nothing really this year. I mean, last year I used to actually, this was kind of like silly, but I would do it a juggle with a teammate to like to the music. We try to like do it to the beat, but like that was, I guess, one superstitious routine that we started doing.
No, I like it. Thank you.
Well,
Can I jump in again? And
Yeah,
on
cool.
that subject, you just said about it. What's with the red tape, the wax at the minute, the red wax?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's actually just nothing in particular. I just like the wax in general, and yeah, I noticed that as well. Like when I put it on, it kind of makes my tape like reddish color, but it's
It
yeah,
it
I've
felt
started.
like since your first goal that's been happening, and I was starting to think there's the superstition, but it's not. Clearly, it's just
Yeah, yeah,
coincidence.
maybe you're onto something there. Yeah, no, but I did find like I started using I think in practice one day, and I was using a different type of wax, and then I just mixed it up just to kind of switch it up, and been riding with that one since.
There's your superstition.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Ruth,
Have you got a favorite music genre, and who would your favorite artist be from that genre?
Hmm. Um, right now it would be Eric Church. I'm on a big Eric Church stint for country music, I guess.
is that your go-to, your country music then?
Yeah, I'd say I kind of like phase in and out of different genres. Sometimes it could be rap. Um, yeah, yeah, rock as well, but I'd say like a staple has always been country.
Ruth, is that question only coming because I think a few of us last night we were having debates while we were watching the game about music genres, and I was getting some stick
Yeah.
on a few of them
Well,
because
I'm a big pop punk fan
yeah,
myself, so like Blink 182,
Oh yeah,
Fun
yeah.
Low, things like that.
we were having that discussion last night a few times, so I thought something that would come in. Sarah,
Yeah, I don't think it's been covered by somebody else. So what's been your most memorable time in your career so far, obviously, apart from being at Blaze now?
Mm, definitely got a lot to sift through, but I would say, um, actually, this one was really cool. I was on the bench watching it all unfold, but we were playing Guildford at home. I think it was a league game, could have been, but I think it was a tie game. We were coming in toward time was running out in the third, but Nick Seitz, he was coming down. I think he got like elbowed or something. I don't know, but he scored a really like just pretty typical Nick Seitz goal, like really hard nose and got a good stick on it and scored. But he came down giving Nux and he had a cut on his eye and he was bleeding. I just thought that was awesome.
Thank you.
and Dan.
So, with the events that you have during outside the practice runs and game matches, so you got one tomorrow at Winscombe. So, I was just wondering, is there any favourite ones that you've not checked off on the list yet, or would like to do the fans during your off season or when you get a chance to have time off?
Um, sorry, I maybe I'm misunderstanding. Like what events to occur again or
So just any of the events like the pub quizzes and like bowling with the fans and
Oh
stuff like
yeah,
that. Is
yeah.
there any that you would like to redo again or any that you have? Because I quite like the idea to challenge any of the Blaze players at a game of air hockey.
that's a good one. Yeah. No, there's been a lot of good ones I think so far that were very enjoyable. I did really enjoy one of them at Hopstamore. It was kind of a smaller event, but it was just board games and a couple of pints, and it was yeah, that was a really fun experience.
That's cool. John, have you got any other questions considering your with your travels all the time?
I feel like you're putting pressure on me now. I feel like
I
this
am
is this.
because you go to all these away games, but we probably don't get to as much. I think the pressure should be on you.
It depends how rogue you want to go. Because the first time I met Mikey, you were having real hassle with the ring road. He literally just landed and
Yeah,
hated it. So how are you getting on with the ring road?
you know what? So far so good. I've done pretty good job of staying out of the bus lane since we last talked about the ring road. I had a troubled day. My first day, I clocked two bus lane tickets pretty quick, but yeah, no, I'm starting to learn the ropes of the ring road and just driving in general's. I like to say I'm pretty comfortable with it. Knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything, but
Getting a
yeah,
bit more used to it, getting used
yeah,
to what goes on. And then
absolutely.
a completely separate question, but it relates to one earlier regarding conversations. And you and Sanford went into the box, middle of the second, 3-1 down, after a bit of cross checking on Saturday. And as we scored while you were both in there, you quite clearly stood up and said something to him. Obviously, make it the PG version of it, but what was said to Cole Sanford when that goal went in?
I think I said, "How do you like them apples?" or something along those lines. But yeah, it was yeah, it was pretty funny when he said that. That was awesome.
Do you know what? That's what I love about you, dude. Because I do see it sometimes thinking, I wonder what he said because he's get that other guy was pissed. And sometimes when we do when I watch it on the streams, when it zooms in and I can see it about to kick off, I see you put a little word in there and then you smile when he said something because that guy's not happy. Then he comes back and tries to take you out and it makes me laugh so much. But a question anyway for me, who would be in any hockey in the world? I've asked this to the majority of the players. Who would be like your dream line in your dream line? If you could choose anyone in the hockey world, or even to the players you're with now, or players you played in the past to now, who would it be? It's a really tough question, I know, because everybody goes, "Oh, I don't know," but it's such a
That's
big
a
question
hard
for you.
one.
So I like asking that question a lot.
Oh, all six guys, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think I can start in the pipes. I'll go Tim Thomas in his prime for the Bruins. Watch him sliding around back there, be pretty fun.
Wow.
Um, mm, think I'd go at the point. Maybe I'd go. mm, Oh, this is tough. Lindstrom and I don't know, Suter maybe, and then for forward, I think I would go. I have to do Stamkos. He's my favorite player. Mm, Gretzky and Lemieux, maybe.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad.
Didn't even make your own team. I tell you what, you're not doing yourself a good service there. You should have been able to get a good shift in with that. Like, I tell you, that would have been a good game.
Absolutely.
Did you have a choice with the numbers this season? Like,
I
did
actually,
you
yeah,
did you
I
choose
lucked
three?
out. Yeah, I got to choose three. I was three in college, and I was three in high school as well. So yeah,
So that's the
those are
reason why you went
right
for
there.
number three, I guess.
Yeah.
Not bad. Jen, anything else? Am I going to put pressure on you now? 'Cause you haven't been that prepared.
You know, I can always make something up.
You
Um,
can, you can.
um, what do you think personally has more impact on your own personal game? So is it that like if you're losing, what I mean is like, so Saturday obviously you all did really really well Saturday, and do you think that sort of takes the pressure off for the next game and therefore you're kind of just going out there knowing that you're having fun, or do you feel like it's when you're not doing so well that that's kind of what brings the game? I hope that makes sense. I don't know whether that was a bit too.
It does, yeah. I don't. That's a tough one. I like to think it's like score independent, like it doesn't really matter what the score is. Yeah, because I would say like our big thing in the locker room is like very process oriented. So, whether we're up six rip or down six rip, it's to stay at it. Now that's like I'm sure there are other factors that are at play that I can't really pinpoint consciously.
Yeah.
Um,
That's fair enough. I was going to say, well, you said earlier about consistency as well, didn't you? So I guess for you, maybe it doesn't really matter whether you're up or down. There's still kind of just trying to play your best game.
yeah, I like to think so. Again, like that's what we strive to do, and sometimes maybe there's other factors at play, but
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Rosie?
Obviously, this is your first year pro. So, what was the transition period like from you from college hockey to professional hockey? Was there stuff that lived up to the expectations, stuff that took you by surprise a bit, or like how was the changeover period for you?
Yeah, I think that there are definitely some differences between college and like just the style of play, let alone variations in speed and stuff. But like in college, it's like I don't know, feels a little bit less of like a possessive game in the sense that like it's like bang bang, like you're kind of chip the puck, hit the guy, and like keep it going, and like this is probably the nature of just a smaller rink. Like when you watch the Manchester games, it's kind of like that. Manchester kind of just a weird rink in general, but like whereas here it's like it's more like possessive and like make the play, and especially because you have a lot of guys that are very high IQ, and I'd say that that's something that was a part of the transition period for me, and still is like just getting used to like making those possession reads instead of always getting it deep, and trying to find time and space for each other.
And is like the locker room any different? Like, have you noticed a big step up, or is it pretty much just same, different team?
In terms of in what regard?
Just like the atmosphere in there, like how each other speaks to one another outside of the locker room. Like, is it more tight and like close together, or was it more like that in the college locker rooms?
Yeah, I'd say what I was pleasantly surprised about is that it like it matched that. In college, it's like kind of easy to have a tight locker room because you all live together, and you usually have like 10 guys that live in like, or at least in our schools, like you get 10 guys that live in like one dorm. Whereas like you hear stories about guys that leave and they go to play pro and they're like it's very like individualistic in a way, and like uh some pro leagues there's a lot of trades and stuff, and so it's like the team locker room kind of gets, I guess, fractioned off into like worrying about your own personal success and not really sacrificing yourself for the good of the group. Whereas here, that wasn't the case at all. Like there's very much that buy-in for the team's sake, and that has been something really special. Something kind of different is like you just have a bigger range of ages, like in
Yeah.
locker room, and it's just really fun how that all gels together, and like you kind of get that like strong sense of like mentorship from the older guys, and then yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I feel like this year, like this team seems a lot closer than other teams we've had like in previous years as well. So it's nice to see, and it obviously reflects on the ice as well. But yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Johnny, do you want to jump in, or you have I put too much pressure on you?
It sort of goes on what Rosie was saying, I suppose, and that is, I think a lot of although we've had teams that have been closer together, I think Kevin is a lot to do with that. I think he was doing a lot of sort of team bonding pre-season, may have been going on previously that I just never knew about, but it feels like the pre-season and getting everybody together was a lot of it. I'm just curious to see if that was something you agree with, Mike. Do you think pre-season and team bonding is of importance?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like was fortunate enough to see a little bit of it when he was working at Princeton, and he was very much a culture driver there as he is here. And I you're right you hit the nail on the head there, where like he doesn't get enough credit for that. I don't think. I mean, he does, but he doesn't at the same time. Like he very much facilitates such a tight-knit locker room.
Ruth?
What's one rink you've played in that you'd never want to play in again because it was that bad?
It doesn't have to be in this league, right? It can just be any
No,
rink.
Yeah, in case they get a hold
anywhere.
of that, they just want to give you a good old.
Okay, um, there's one rink. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but it's in Massachusetts, and like half of the side is like concrete, like above the boards, and so it's just I don't even know if you can call it a rink, but they have games there when I was younger, and I would never look forward to going back there per se. I did play in one rink. They changed it since, but they had chain link fence instead of glass. That was like the setup of it. I wasn't like old enough to like really have to pay the price of getting hit into the chain link fence, or too young and small to really crunch each other. But that I imagine would have been no fun. I always looked at it like, wow, this has a lot of character, but again, I didn't have to deal with the real repercussions of a chain link fence board.
I'm so disappointed. I wish you were going to say someone in this league.
I
I would
know.
have loved to see if you said something.
We all know what he was actually
I
thinking.
think
Let's
I
be
was
honest.
thinking
We all know what
something.
he's really thinking.
But have you got one in this league that you wouldn't want to play at
Oh no,
again? Just out
You
of
got to answer
interest.
that.
no, Ruth, I don't have one. I don't have one.
Okay.
We'll believe it. Sarah?
Yeah, again, away from hockey, but more a bit maybe more rogue. What's been your favourite British cuisine that you've tried so far? Not slim chickens, because obviously that is not British.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Uh, I'd say it's a good Sunday roast. That's
Can't go
that's
wrong.
delicious.
What's your favourite like meat then on the Sunday roast?
It's good. I guess I get a roast beef.
Very good choice.
Who's cooking this roast? Is it you're going out for one or is somebody cooking it for you?
Oh, I've only gone out for one. That's
Okay.
good.
You gotta
Yeah,
learn to cook it then and you can rate each other's.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do that.
I
I'm
know
going to change
before.
your mind pretty quickly, and I'm going to bring you a Greg sausage roll for the next game. You'll change your
Yes,
mind
yeah. I
instantly.
haven't had one actually. I know.
There
It's
you go. I told you.
I'm
There's.
due.
Do you know what? You're not the
Game on me
only.
for
He's not
that.
the only one. I know. I was speaking to Matt Robson the other night, and he was saying exactly saying, "I don't think he's had a Greg's either." And I was like, "Blimey, you need to get in there. Definitely need to get a Greg's." But I know the boys like to go to Weatherspoons. I heard that story. He said when I was speaking to Grace, and as soon as I finished my podcast with Grace, and he's like, I'm going spoons, you coming? And I was like, you calling it spoons already, like we do? He goes, yeah, I'm going spoons. And then I was like, what are we having? Then he's like, I'm going to get a breakfast roll. And then when I spoke to Matt about it, Matt said he turned up and he was like, there was like 15 like breakfast rolls on the table. So fair play. But I am actually going for breakfast with Grayson next week. Next week, I think, because we're doing we're doing something with David Clements in the morning, and then we'll go into Jen's college to do a podcast with me and Grace and R, and we're going to do breakfast. So no doubt we're going to be filled with breakfast rolls that morning. So I apologise if we're a bit bloated before we turn up, Jen. But yeah, Dan, sorry, mate.
Um, just as like once you've had a post game, do you ever watch any of your reviews to make sure like you can see where you need to improve on or any errors or strengths that you would like to see improve more? Or as you view other players in your team, is there anything that you give them advice for?
Yeah, definitely. After the weekend and stuff, we get kind of the recordings of the game, and so that's a great time to watch over my shifts, see what I could have done better, um, and kind of take note about it and focus on that during the week in practice. As a team as well, we definitely watch over the games and coach will highlight any positive trends, negative trends, and discuss on them.
Awesome, awesome. Um, my one is as well. Free dinner date. If you could go on a dinner date with anyone in the world, I asked it again. I only be fair because I ask it to everybody. Dinner dates. If you could be out with, that could be either family, that could be friends. Out of three people in the world, who would it be with?
Three people. Um, gee. Mm, David Ortiz would be one of them. Probably don't know who David Ortiz is. He's a Red Sox American baseball player,
Yeah,
uh, real big legend in Boston. So I chalk him up there. Um,
so that's your one.
yeah,
If
this
you
is
just want to go
tough.
with him, that's fine.
Patrice Bergeron, maybe another great Boston sports player for the Bruins.
Yeah,
Um, the third and final pick. This is tough. Let me think. Mm, You got me stumped here.
No,
Um,
that's all right. No rush.
maybe.
Everybody, you know what? You're every time I ask the question there, it's normally when I ask about who would play you in a movie, who
Oh,
would
really?
play you, and nobody can answer that.
I got that one. I can
Oh
answer
yeah,
that
go on,
one.
answer that one
You
then.
know, like you ever see the movie We're the Millers? We're the Millers.
Yes, yeah.
You know, like the son, like the fake son.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he yeah, I think I'll go with that guy.
That's not a bad shout. I'll give you that. That's not a bad shout at all. Fair play.
At
Go on,
what at what point did you see him in that film and went, he could play me in a movie? That's a hell of a spot.
No, I've gotten that before though. People are like, "Oh, you know that guy before the Millers?" And it's like usually they're trying to make a jest, and then
You
I'm
do
like,
know I'm going to make a reel out of that, and I'm going to have that popping up definitely because that is quality. Isn't
"Oh
even like
no,
in that scene when he knows that song about he starts rapping that song. What is it? Oh, is it
yeah, I know what you're
Go
talking about."
Changing Waterfalls or something? And shit. What is it? That is that the song title? Come on, Jen. You got guitars in the back. You might be into the music stuff. Don't go change. And there's a rap starting, and he starts going into the rap
Yeah,
version, and everyone's
yeah,
just
yeah.
looking at him.
Putting bars, yeah, yeah.
Wasn't he in? I think he was in Maze Runner as well. Sure,
Yes,
he was
yeah,
in Maze
that's the
Runner.
guy.
Are you a big movie buff?
I do like movies, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Which would you say is your top movie, all time movie? That's gonna be a hard question.
That's a tough one, yeah. Hmm, Miracle's definitely up there. Miracle on Ice. I enjoyed that
Yeah,
movie.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Good
No,
Will Hunting's a
real.
classic. Like that's a staple. Up Step Brothers as well.
Quality film. Right, we'll do one more round of questions. Has everyone got any more questions, or are you all happy? Unless you want to do another round, we all good? No one will speak at once.
I'm all good. I've thrown too many questions out
Nah, we've
anyway, so
done.
you lot go for it.
Nah, I'm happy to. Well, I ended there, but I just want to say again to every single one of you, like I know it was short notice with doing it because originally it was just going to be me and Mikey, but I thought I wanted to make some changes to the podcast because normally I would meet everybody in person, but that's why the reason why I messaged you last night, thinking I heard that you're going to be watching the game, and I thought, is he really going to want to get up and do this after what being up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning? So I
Yeah,
thought, you know what, I thought about it, and I did Zoom last time with Matt, so I thought I'd been giving anyone the opportunity if they feel like they need a bit of extra time, especially after a game. It can be a lot. I know you've got a busy schedule, but no, I want to say obviously thanks to everybody else because it was last minute me asking people, and I had so many people message me today asking to come on. Lots of people got in touch, but I didn't want it to be overwhelmed and overwhelming for everybody and trying to get questions in. So for the ones who, I have selected to come on tonight and have a chat, I really appreciate it. And following the podcast, it means a lot to me, and obviously it means a lot for you to come on, Mikey, as well, and spend some time answering our questions because I know you're a big fan favorite of ours, and just keep doing what you're doing because you're smashing it, and we want more goals from you because we were so proud and happy for you to see that, and I think even the players were, even seeing their reactions running over to you and stuff. It was a great moment for all of us, and I know it was for you. So again, congratulations to you. That keep doing what you're doing, and
yeah,
again, thank you everybody for coming on. Cheers.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming as well,
You're
and
very
thank
welcome.
you.